Welcome back to F&A Van Life, guys.
Today we have another F&A Van Life couple with us. Forrest and Alex are going to share their beautiful van with us.
This is our Luna, our beautiful van.
Hey, I'm Forrest. This is Joey, our little boy Charlie. We got a 2019 Ram ProMaster. As of May 15th, we're full-timers, and we spent about 7 months building it. Very exhausting, very tiring. We hope maybe some of our mistakes could come to benefit others. Which is one of the reasons we want to do a van video, just to help others and, you know, share what we've learned, because we learned so much from the YouTube community, including these two behind the cameras. Which I gotta tell the story. We're here van lifing it yesterday. We take a nap in the parking lot. We ate lunch in our van and went over to a trail. We're cruising along. And I see Frankie going, look at that tree. And I tell her, I'm like, I say that every time, like, look at that tree. And I'm like, wait a minute, we know you guys from YouTube. We made this really cool connection and talked to them for like 3 hours yesterday. And
sorry.
Well, he's been talking still.
anyway, it's super cool to meet you guys.
Yeah, we're glad you said hi.
Yeah.
We got to meet some new friends out of it too. It's not just you guys.
Yeah.
You know, we're super excited to meet you guys plus other people out there. And it's so amazing to get to see everybody else.
Yeah, man, it's like an
It's
instant
such a
connection.
Great community.
We got a 2019 Ram ProMaster 159. We got the 2500, which basically just has to deal with the amount of weight the van can carry. We got it, it was white, and Alex picked the blue. We got this painted at a Mako in the East Bay, San Francisco area. And then one of my buddies helped me do the Raptor liner across the bottom. Kind of makes it scratch resistant, rust resistant, noise deadening. Also looks cool. On the roof, we've got 2 Max fans, one in the front, one in the back. We got a 300 watt Silfab solar panel made in the USA. Pretty cool about that. The grill guard, got this from TAC, the name of the company. We got 2 Baja Designs LP9 fog lamps. And we upgraded the tires and the suspension also. We've got BF Goodrich KO2, soon to be super popular. These wheels and tires combo is hard to find, this combo, but we made it work. And we upgraded the suspension. We've got a 3-inch lift from off-highway vans with a 1.5-inch block in the back from Van Compass. And then I installed Bilstein front struts, which is, if your van is heavy, I have a heavy ProMaster, I highly recommend that, made a huge difference. And we put on a Hellwig sway bar underneath the van in the back, put on Fox rear shocks, and also Sumo shocks.
You guys spent a lot of money on that.
We spent a lot of money on the outside, and we didn't anticipate the van to be as heavy as it was, but it turned out we built a super heavy van, so like the suspension upgrade was like kind of not even optional. We'd hit like a little pothole and the whole van would rattle, so it was like the suspension upgrade like made a huge difference. And when we upgraded the tire size, the ProMaster comes with a smaller spare, and it was just too much of a discrepancy, especially if we were going to be like on a dirt road or whatever, so I decided to get a spare tire carrier. I got this from Rigged Supply, super heavy duty. It doesn't wobble, I mean it's like super solid. And then that pops off, swings out. They set it up to where you can put a bike carrier down here if you want. And we got extra gas if we want to put it in there. These are Max Trax recovery boards, so if you get stuck in the dirt, you bury those under your front wheels or whatever and climb out. So, and a lot of people think this is a 4-wheel drive van. It's not. I read some articles and they were saying with decent driving skills and a good set of tires, you can go anywhere you really need to go. Like, we have our whole house in here, so I don't plan on doing any like rock crawling crazy trails. I just want to get on forest roads and not get stuck. Yeah, and the off-highway vans, actually, the lift that we put on, it raises the ProMaster rear axle by like 2.5 inches, so we're almost at 10 inches on the rear axle, which is, ProMaster geeks get into that stuff. Here's Charlie and Alex. I hadn't done any woodwork since 7th grade shop, and I'm very proud of myself. We got cedar and red cedar, basically just drilled it in straight to the door with a little glue, and left these, didn't glue these so we can get them off if we need to.
Did you insulate behind them?
And yeah, we've got insulation in the, we did a foam it green, like a spray foam that's supposed to be less toxic than most spray foam, so we did the whole van with that. It was a crazy amount of work. I don't know if I would use it again, but it seems like it's insulated pretty well now. So I think the kit we got was like $1,000 almost, like 950 bucks. It was not cheap. And then it was like the labor that we put into doing it was like a lot. Like the prep work, and then afterwards, like they tell, if you use the product, they say like tape anywhere that you don't want to get the foam. So we just thought that meant insulation wise, but it's like every little spot you have to completely tape everything, because it will like, it won't come off.
Oh.
So we've got a 300 watt module on the roof, a 2000 watt Victron inverter. We have no propane, we're fully solar. We have two 100 amp hour Battleborn lithium ion batteries. We also have the Battleborn alternator charger. So we have an induction cooktop, how we make our oatmeal in the morning. We have a Vitamix, we make a smoothie. We have an Instant Pot, we make our peas and potatoes, and we can't get our batteries to drop. Like, I don't know. We have a 300 watt panel. Like, I know a lot of people put huge systems on. We were about to, but this is working really well. We've got two 20-gallon over-the-wheel well water tanks, and in the back underneath there, we didn't unload everything because we're on a road trip. We've got a isotemp water heater. Vanlife Outfitters was the guy who uses this. It's the water heater that the coolant from the engine runs back through the water heater to warm up your water when you drive. So if we drive like half an hour or less, we'll have hot water for over 24 hours. It's pretty crazy. We're not even plugged, the water heater's not even plugged into the electric right now, which is saving us a lot of amp hours too. We got some weights for the trip and a lot of junk back there.
Your storage spot.
Yeah. Shore power.
That's handy that it's on the outside like that.
I know.
I was gonna do that.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah,
how
so
you
this
fill.
is where we fill.
Sweet.
Smart.
All right, you guys want to take us inside?
Sure.
Sure.
Welcome to Luna. Walking in, and this is our upper cabinet. We got rid of our glass canisters and got these really lightweight stainless steel ones. This bench was actually a have to with this van build, because for a couple reasons. First, it holds our refrigerator, which I'll show you in a little bit, but our doggies have seatbelt harnesses. So what we did, install seatbelts in here. So 2 seatbelts. We needed them to be safe while we drove and close to us in the front. So that was huge. So it also holds our refrigerator, which I'll show you. We got almost like the largest refrigerator they make. It's a Dometic. Right here, slides right out really easily. Freezer side for our smoothies. And it uses such little energy. Forrest knows exactly like how much.
All the stats.
All the stats, of course. He's a numbers guy. And here's all of our, must-have stashers for a van lifer. These are silicone, and so they're reusable. And you know, this holds like a whole, like, I don't even know how much lentils this holds. And it's just easy to pack in these, especially in these cooler style refrigerators. We install these wonderful latches. Oh my gosh. Here's like where we hang out a lot. We eat. So we have the 2 swivel seats. Sometimes I sit right here and Forrest will sit right there, so we could be eating side by side. And Charlie, who's a mama's boy, has to be by me. Joey's over there, or sometimes I'll sit there and Forrest will sit here and we'll eat. So we have our dining area.
And you have a lagoon table.
A lagoon table. And so we're gonna replace the top eventually. And this was gonna be our original fronts. But we decided to go for white because at first I wanted to have the walls painted white. But Forrest talked me out of it. And I'm glad he did, because it's a lot warmer than I thought. I thought it was gonna be more like closed in, but it's not. So we switched. So we just use this right now, but we're gonna get a nicer table one day and upgrade. I gotta tell you guys about the cabinets. Went with IKEA because Forrest wasn't that comfortable building cabinets. Later on in the build, he did get comfortable with wood, but it was not at first. And it was gonna be so complicated. So we went with IKEA cabinets and IKEA countertop, because we got a quote for $9,000 for these cabinets that were gonna be custom made, and we're like, no way. So for like, I think it was like $1,800, we got all of the upper, all of the lower, and the countertop, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
But they're heavy. That's the only thing, is they're heavy. But the good thing about IKEA is that this is adjustable, so you don't have to latch the upper cabinets. They're actually pretty hard to open. Black kitchen sink. How to have a nice wide kitchen sink, because I'm constantly washing dishes and it gets everywhere. We have, of course, the famous, now it's on a dribble, but whatever it's called in English, faucet. Of our Berkey. Everybody should have a Berkey. We fill it like 10 times a day. No, I'm just kidding, maybe 2 or 3. But this is a water purifier, which is different than a water filter. So Google it. And you'll see it's a very big distance. This basically takes swamp water and like filters out, and it's delicious water. I'm very picky. I'm like, instead of a wine person, I'm like a water person. You know, I'm very picky. We've tried so many different latches. We tried the ones like this that you guys have that like just click in. Everything came flying open. We tried the magnet on the lower and the little clip-in ones. Everything flew open and scared the caca out of our little dog. So now we went with these ones, like pilots in a big spaceship. We have to be like, latches on, check. You know, just make sure.
They look really warm because I mean the whole space is so woodsy and warm, but like it's not like the black is like, oh my gosh, your whole space is black. It's
it
just
kind
like
of
a really
matches like
outfit.
the barnyard, like these. Yeah. Here we have a little door to go into the back, but we basically keep our dirty laundry in here in this bag. We shove in there. But even this latch, you know, it's really cute. Our toiletries are right here.
Love it.
Here we put this little basket up here. We have our little Advil or whatever, and everything else in there. It's a little messy, but it works. A little garbage can. We spices. We just put these up like 3 days ago. Of course, we painted the lids black, and if you notice, there's no label, so we have it memorized. And I won't bore you with tuku, but they're all memorized. And then up here, we have this shelf, and people are like, how does this not fly out? Well, these don't go in here. This is for show. So one day, we're gonna have, our next project is to have like the bungee. Our little plants, we have our succulents. These are real. We have a fake one that I thought was real for like 3 years, and I kept watering, and I'm like, oh my god, this is like the best plant. They're so low maintenance. So now we know that was fake. These are real. These two plants, I have to say, are amazing. So we research low maintenance air filtering plants, and this is a English ivy. So what they do is they filter the air, and they take very little sun, and they're really great for this kind of environment. And this one, it's Frankie. This is a plant named Frankie, and our doggy, our French bulldog, died last year, whose name was Frankie. So when I read about Frankie, I told Forrest, I'm like, I'm gonna go get Frankie, and we get to take care of Frankie and nurture Frankie, and he gets to take care of us. So sweet. So this is, and it's, we have Gorilla Tape on there, so Frankie doesn't go anywhere. This is all our tea stuff. In here, we just take the basket out. And we have our giant oatmeal. We love oatmeal. A little junk drawer with our silverware. Like, I don't know why we have 4. There's only 2 of us, but maybe one day somebody will want to hang out with us. Like maybe
you can cook for us tonight.
Let's see, there you go. Where do we cook? People are like, why don't you have a cooktop? Well, we have an induction stove right here that we pull out.
Nice.
We love the countertop, so we wanted to maximize it. So we just pull it out, and we have an Instapot and air fryer. It's amazing. Bathroom. These hooks hold our towels, which I took off because they don't look pretty for van tours. We have this beautiful shower with a self-cleaning door.
I was wondering about that.
Yes, which is really great. It's a sense of privacy in here, which is really nice. So before I get to the toilet, this is awesome. I love this little, it shuts down, so when we shower, we don't wet the toilet paper, even though I did completely soak a whole roll of toilet paper.
I guess if you forget, that's it.
I forgot.
Yeah.
I was like, ay, ay, ay. We have our shower head. This is a 1.8 blah, blah, blah.
Gallons per minute?
Yeah, I'm like, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so it's really low flow, and I really was looking for the stop button, which is really key when you shower in the van. And we have our little dispenser here. This was definitely the hardest part of the build. It was building the shower because of the curves of the walls. We used FRP for the walls. We bought a Nature's Head toilet, which all the van lifers use, and it's awesome. It was the first thing we bought 7 months ago. Built the shower, it did not fit. We're like, oh my god, we're in the middle, the beginning of COVID. What are we gonna do? We find Airhead, which is such an amazing toilet. First of all, it's like way smaller than Nature's Head, which fit perfectly here. and it's way more user friendly. The solids and the liquids, to empty out the liquids on a Nature's Head, you have to open the whole toilet and expose the solids, and you don't with the Airhead. The Airhead is completely separate. It sits more like a toilet. It has actual like toilet seat, where the Nature's Head has just the shape. Love this toilet. I think everybody, even houses, should have composting toilets, but especially the Airhead. We drink a lot of water. That's all we drink. And tea. We have to empty that pee bottle every day. Every day. We just have to. We've had some rookie mistakes that were not fun. Oh, it was bad. But every day we have to empty it. The solids, for full-timers like we just started. We actually had to do a couple of runs with the cocoa core, which is the material that you put inside, before we found like the perfect amount. This should last like at least 2 months.
Oh,
the
nice.
solids. And what happens too is that it has like an earthy smell when you empty it. It's not like horrific. It's when the solids and the liquids mix that you get that sewer smell. So it's really awesome. I just freaking love this toilet.
Cool.
Okay, bedroom area. And the little step, because I'm only 5'4", look, I'll demonstrate.
Perfect.
I got it squeak. Queen size bed here, a little bigger than the fold down here.
Okay, so you had to like notch it out basically.
Yes, yeah. So what we did is that we got the foam from the foam store, and then one of the pieces that we cut right here, we use here as an extra piece. And Forrest is 6'1", so he can sleep this way. And I'm only 5'4", so I have plenty of room. Like his right leg does wander over to my side, but I don't mind. I like him. It's okay. Here's our clothing. So we have 2 different styles of packing our clothing. This is Forrest's clothes. He likes the bins. Looks really nice. He has this upper cabinet and the upper cabinet on that side in the kitchen now. And then I am experimenting with packing cubes. I really like these because I just pull them out. I know what's in there. And I keep the zippers here so I can just go in there. So here's my clothing, and I have 2 little cubby holdies over there, which is pretty amazing for a girl, I think. My blanket. Looked hours and hours online in the middle of the night looking for the perfect blanket for this van with the right colors. And the patterns of these pillows, you guys, hours of work in here. It's crazy. But here are my patterns, my colors. I love it. Here's our another one here.
A little book nook.
A little book nook for me, because Forrest made this one for him, and I got so jealous that his was right there. And we have these little lights here that turn off. There's a night light. And then these dim. And this, awesome.
What is it?
Isn't it so mysterious? It is a noisemaker.
Oh.
Isn't that awesome?
What's a noise? Oh, like
a white
rain
noise?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. I love this because you don't know where you end up sleeping in the road or whatever, and it has like, I don't even know, like 30 something sounds, and we use the like soft white noise, which is like we sleep like babies in here. Oh, Max fan up here, and Max fan up there. Sierra Lawrence awning window. Oh, did I ever mention these little
No,
dimmer
you
lights?
didn't.
OMG, look at these. Like 12 bucks. They're plugged in. And they're little strips that I don't know how they put it up there, I think with tape or something, but they dim. We love these, especially movie night. Anyway, so that's our lights.
Cool.
There.
And then you have a couple like built-in lights at the top.
Built-in lights here, and they're all dimmable. Cool. See? That's awesome. It was your idea.
My idea. So I've been watching van videos. She was watching tiny house videos.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, it's too small, too crowded, too cramped. But then I started watching van videos and I was like, oh, we could totally do this. And I became obsessed on YouTube watching videos. And I went to Alex, I'm like, honey, we gotta live in a van. And she's like, I am not living in a van. I'm like, please, this is very important to me. And she's like, you're asking me to watch a movie I don't want to watch. Like, I'm not living in a van. So I started showing her YouTube videos, But I came up with 8 reasons why it would work, and I had like this whole sales presentation ready to present to her to like talk her into moving into a van, save money, be able to travel, go do things. So we have been personal trainers for the last 10 years, self-employed, and like, you know, rent at our house, rent at our gym where we paid rent, and small business taxes. Like, we just couldn't make it work. And we had a rental property that we've been renting for the last 12 years, and I basically sat down and looked at the numbers, and I was like, you know, this just isn't working, you know, financially our jobs aren't working, our housing's not working. So the van solves so many problems because we live in this cool area in the Bay Area, but we can't even afford to go anywhere because of our rent and our overhead's so high. So getting the van, lowering our overhead dramatically, like we sat down, pen to paper, like wrote down all of our costs and expenses, and you know, we lowered our monthly expenses by about 50 to 60%. And that's still with like me putting a huge number in there for food, because we like to eat good, healthy food.
So we were at Pismo Beach, and Forrest was just like, please, like nonstop, like, it was like driving me crazy. Yes, it was exhausting. It was like a little kid who wants that one toy he saw on a commercial, you know? And I'm like, okay, Forrest, it's just like, see if we find a couple that live full time in their van and they'll let us see inside it. You know, and who are married. So I threw that in just to like make it even harder.
And I was like, no one's gonna let us just see their van. Like, that's not really realistic. You know, we just need to get a van.
And so the very next day, we go to our favorite restaurant down in Pismo, in San Luis Obispo, and there's this couple like putting their van equipment away, and I go up to them like, oh, I'm sorry, I missed your music. She's like, oh, well, here's our card, you could listen online. And I turn it around, and they're sitting in front of their Sprinter van that's been converted. And I'm like, you live in a freaking van? And Forrest is smiling from ear to ear. Anyway, so she's like, we've been together for 2 years, we're married, full time, 2 years, do you want to come see? And we're like, what? And that was like, okay, that's a sign. Because I'm all about the universe giving me signs. And we're like, okay, Forrest, you might be onto something. But I want it to be a emergency apocalyptic vehicle on the outside and nice and cozy on the inside. And that's what we build.
Let's say 37 on the van.
80?
I would say we probably spent 50.
An extra 50?
Yeah, so
50 on the van with everything.
So right around 90 grand about, right?
Say 85, 90.
Yeah, but let's break it down, because like now all you need to make monthly is around $1,000 a month.
So our monthly expense is like $1,000 with the van, not including insurance. That takes it to like $1,050, $1,100. So, but what we wanted a really, really high-end van on the inside. And what I did was I bought the van, and I looked out, I contacted some different builders in the Portland area and in the West Coast, and like they were charging around $100 or so to build the van the way we wanted it built with the descriptions that I gave. So if you look at the fact that we could have spent $100 grand to have people build it for us, and
then another 30 for the van itself.
Yeah.
We could have taken the $40,000 van to someone and have them build it the way we want it, which would have been $100 grand. So that would have put us at a $140,000 monthly loan. Whereas what we did was we bought the van and spent 50. So we saved 50.
Yes.
Correct.
We saved 50 to get a high-end build like we wanted, with nice details and woodwork and the lighting, and you know, there were days where I'm like, I would have been happily just taking on some more debt just to not have the van build on my mind, because it is not easy. Like, if you have an obsessive mind like I do, and your attention to detail, like, there are so many moving parts. Doing it yourself, there is something to be said to paying a company to do it for you. If you have the money, it's probably the way to go. You know, but if you want to do it yourself, you can. I mean, I promise you, you can do more than you think you can. Like, I hadn't done any woodwork since 7th grade shop, like I think I said that earlier, and I ended up building the shelf over here. I built the window frame. I put the wood on the walls. I did the floors. Like, I did some of the detail work that's like, that's actually harder to do than just framing a wall and nailing some boards in, you know what I mean? So I borrowed a chop saw from my neighbor and got a skill saw and a drill, and like, you know, just made it happen, you know?
It's just amazing what you could accomplish if you just put your mind to it.
And I think one of the coolest things I can say about being a van owner and a van life is like, I went from like, I mean, not having a lot of awareness around me as far as like things that are going on in the rental, right? Now I know a lot about my water heater. I know about the coolant lines coming from the engine. I'm like, suspension upgrades. Like I know how to use a drill in a way that I never had used before, and saws. Like I've gotten all these crazy skills that I love, you know, and I've learned, and this is like my home now. So it's like, you know, it feels really cool just to be in this thing, you know.
If I could say, it always takes longer than you think it's going to take,
and it costs more.
A whole lot more money.
It'll take twice as long and cost twice as much.
That's right. But
hopefully that doesn't happen to you, but that's what happened to us.
That's what happened to us, so we learned.
Yeah.
It happened to us too.
I mean, thank you for what you do, Frankie, because without the hundreds of van tours that he showed me, I wouldn't be here today, and I am the happiest I've ever been. I could cry living in a van. I love van life. So that's why we're doing this, because we want to give back to the van life community and inspire anybody who's even thinking about this. Really, it's a movement. It is a movement of minimalism, of anti-corporation, and just, you know, lower footprint. So it's please join the movement, and I hope that we've inspired you in any way. Like you've inspired us.
Heck yeah. What'd you think about Forrest and Alex's van? We thought it was absolutely wonderful.
Let us know in the comments below your favorite part of the build, and if you want to find Forrest and Alex, where can we find you?
You could find me at Chiquita on Instagram, Chiquita_vegana.
We'll link it down in the description below. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye.